Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Paul from Lock and Key Productions, and you're watching the Digital Studio Series Part 1. So, for this first video, I want to talk about the DAW template, right? How you're going to start, and specifically, how you're going to create a template for film and game scoring. The trick here, I think, for good scoring really is good workflow, right? You don't want to waste time and energy on things that you don't have to. So I like to start every project from a template. So here's just a quick look at my layout, and then we'll get into each one specifically. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a lot of tracks, 173 to be exact, and that's everything from the bus tracks to the effects tracks to the instrument tracks themselves, right? So to start off, my first track, I like to have it piano, and I mean, my color coding is pretty much arbitrary, just, whatever your tastes are. For piano, I like purple. I don't know. It's just how it is. So I start with the piano, so I always have it, and in Contact, I always have at least one piano loaded, so that I can just, go right to it, start hashing out some ideas. Then I have my vocals bus, right? So I like my vocals to be pink, and then a darker shade of pink as the scratch tracks, and I've got a scratch track between each one. That way, visually, I can just see, I know what's a good take and what's a scratch take, right? And I like that, just that being able to identify them quickly through that darker visual. Right, and over here, I've got my strings. Now, for the strings, generally I don't keep instruments loaded in Contact because that's a lot of overhead. With the strings, I do. I have those preloaded because I use strings a lot. And I also have them pretty much orchestrated already. The way I set up the tracks, I've got, first violins, second violins, viola, and then I've got tracks for divisi. So viola divisi, cello divisi, bass divisi, right? That way it stays organized. Then over here, I've got my brass. Right. Now, the purple one, that's a bit of a special circumstance because it's a particular library. It's a dark brass library called Cage. And then here I've got my normal brass. Again, kind of going with like a brass color, right? Then I've got my winds bus. And then I've got a special bus. This is kind of like an ethnic winds bus. For like Irish whistle, ocarina, jubal flute, bagpipe, all that kind of stuff. And over here, we're getting into the pads and more of the synthesis, right? So this is my pads bus. It's kind of got that like sci-fi blue thing going on. Here we've got a soundscapes bus, right? Same kind of deal. Now with the green, I've got my drum kit bus. I don't really use that often for film scoring, although you never know what kind of music you're going to have to make. So I like to keep that ready to go. Those are preloaded with each individual piece of the drum kit. So this one is just loaded with the hi-hat, this with the ride, snare, etc. And then over here, we've got the orchestral percussions bus, right? So this is going to be more of your, your classic orchestral percussion, timpanis, taikos, stuff like that. For this, I've got guitars, right? So electric guitars, they're ready for DI recording. and then I've got this set up for acoustic stereo micing. And then at the foundation of it all, or the base, pardon the pun, I've got my bass tracks ready to record DI bass, or a mono amp and bass MIDI. You'll also notice I've got these yellow effects tracks in between each bus. That's partially for organization. Normally, once I've got an effect like a reverb that I like, I drag it into the bus so that the bus controls all the levels so that it stays relative, right? When it's outside of the bus, it's no longer relative, which can be a cool thing when you're mixing if that's what you want to do, right? If you want to make the whole bus a little bit more wet by bringing down the overall relative volume of the bus, you can do that. Or if you want to keep it all relative, you just drag the effects track into the bus. So that's pretty much it. That's how I like to organize. I like to keep instances of Kontakt ready to go. Most of these don't have instruments, but I just like them there so I can click on them, open up Kontakt, and once it's open, I can load whatever instruments I want and then just hit the ARM record button and go to work. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of this series. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.